Last week, we went to locals with our brand new hero deck for the first time ever, hoping to have a bit of a test play as well as build a really good deck, because at the time of recording that video, YCS Pasadena was going on. However, it has been officially canceled, so no YCS Pasadena, but that is completely okay. I was still a little bit debating if I actually wanted to go or not now, but now that the decision has already been made, we're just going to be playing the deck at locals, and I am completely fine with that. And that brings us to today's video, where we headed to locals, and it was a packed house, guys. The tournament has already happened, so I'll be showing you guys the game by play and talk to you guys a little bit about how the deck performed. There was so many changes that I made to the deck that was just, I think it worked out very well, and I really do like the changes, and I'll get more in depth with that when I get into the deck profile right after this little bit of an intro here. But it performs very well. There was 24 players there today, and it was so much fun. It was just like old times when I used to have this hero deck back in late 2019. I believe that's when I had it in early 2019 as well, but then it got completed like in mid 2019, and then I had it late 2019. But anyways, it felt like as if I never got rid of the deck, so it was just so fun to have my deck back, playing it. And some people do remember that I used to play heroes, so they noticed that I've been playing heroes because I haven't seen them in a little while either. So when they saw that I was playing heroes, they said, "Oh, I rebuilt it." Yes, I rebuilt the deck, and it was just so much fun. So I am going to get into the deck profile here and talk about some things that I made and some changes that I made and my reasonings for them. So let's go ahead and get to the deck profile very quickly. Starting off, one of the early changes I did was to bump Stratos to 3, and I really enjoyed that I actually did that. Then we have the usual lineup of 2 Shadow Mist, 1 Liquid Soldier, as well as 1 Honest Neos. So Stratos was the only change for the Elemental Hero package. Now onto the Destiny Hero package. Now this one went through a lot of changes. We have the 1 Plasma, the 2 Malicious, and the 1 Denier. However, I decided to add Celestial and Dynatag. Now, this was a bit of going back and forth that do I want to actually have these into the deck, but then I also started thinking about what if we get called into time, and I decided to want to use Dystopia. Dystopia, I decided to keep into the main deck, into the extra deck, and it was actually a pretty cool call. I think it worked out pretty well. Now, I did go into Dystopia once in the videos, but unfortunately it was negated, but I was still able to proceed to do some battle damage, and then time did get called, so it helped out right there. So definitely a really cool change up. And then we have the 1 Evil Hero, a Dusted Gold. Now onto the Vision Heroes. We have the 3 Ferrises, 2 Increases, and 2 Vions, our standard Vision Hero package here. I still went back and forth between taking 1 out of Ferris and the increase during the side games, but I don't think I could do that for the main deck, and I'd rather just have it at the very start of the game. Then we went into 2 Ash Blossoms, and I actually took out the Nibiru's and put in Effect Veiler. Now, if I had Forbidden Chalice, I probably would have used Chalice over Effect Veiler, but Veiler did help out as well earlier in one match. I can't remember exactly what I used it on, but it did help out as well. And speaking of just hand traps, we did also have the 2 Infinite Impermanences. Those are still kept in here, but yeah, Nibiru went into the side deck, and I think it was a good call. I think it worked out very well. Next, on to the spells. We have 3 Fusion Destiny, 3 Max Changes, our usual lineup for those. So let me get those out of the way. Then we have the 1-ofs, A Hero Lives, followed by Emergency Call. I was debating putting this 1 to 2 because I was going back and forth with 3 Stratoses and 1 E-Call, or 2 Stratoses and 2 E-Call. So this is what I ended up playing. 1 Polymerization, 1 Miracle Fusion, 1 Dark Calling, and then we have the 1 Rhoda and the 1 Foolish Burial to round off our deck. It's still at 40, and I'm so happy that it's still at 40 because I was going for like 42, 43, so I wanted to keep it at 40, and it worked out. There's my Jaden Yuki token. I just always got to show that one off. But we did cut Cross Crusader for 1, and that was a big if. I stayed up till like 3 in the morning debating what on earth am I going to take out, what am I going to add in, because I did add in some extra deck monsters, and I was just going back and forth what do I want to take out, because I was debating between that, Wander Driver, and Dread Decimator. I've seen some people take out Dread Decimator, but I wanted to keep this out because it gives it a boost, it does some piercing damage, and this actually did come in handy later in the day, and I was so glad I decided to keep this and cut this one to 1. Now, I do kind of miss the second one, but I don't know, the way it performed today did work out very well, so I just have to decide, do I want to have 2 Cross Crusaders or do I want to have like, you know, one of each Link monster and all the ones that I am currently playing as well? We'll just have to wait and see how it goes. Now you have the one Sunriser, the one Absolute Zero, and the one Shining. I was debating taking out Shining, but it is a follow-up play if you have Miracle Fusion step back on the field with Wonder Driver's effect. So I wanted to keep it in the extra deck. Otherwise, what am I going to be setting if I don't have a Mass Change or Polymerization in my graveyard? I just have Miracle Fusion. Is it just going to go to waste? You know, so yeah, the Shining decided, I decided the Shining was going to stay. Then for the Destiny Hero package, we have the one Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer, one Dystopia, which did make the cut, and I am actually glad that I did decide to keep it. And I actually did have the Dangerous, but I did not go into that at all, but it is there for an option if I needed to send a Destiny Hero and a Dark Monster, which will typically be the Shadow Mist, so I can get a Search, or any Dark Monster if I don't need to send Shadow Mist to the graveyard. So it just never came up, so yeah, it was still there. It's an option. Then we have the one Malicious Bane. I mean, come on, that card's really good. One Vision Hero Trinity. I did not go into this at all today, spoiler, but yeah, it's still there. Then we have the two Dark Laws, which is such a good card, and the one Master Hero Blast and one Master Hero Acid. Still my usual lineup for the Master Heroes. And for the side deck, I decided to change it up a bit, and we have two Token Collectors. This was mostly because I did go against Sword Soul last week, and I don't really have any outs to it too much. I mean, I still like go one hand to hand with it, but I would like to have some cards that can actually stop it a bit. So Token Collector, I bumped that up to 2. The Nibiru's did get moved to the side deck, and I just put it at 2. So yeah, that was there. 3 Artifact Lancia, still keeping that for the Tri Brigades or the Phantom Knights and anything else that would banish. 3 Dark Ruler No More. Sorry, let me move these up a little bit. Sorry about that, guys. 3 Dark Ruler No More. 3 Cosmic Cyclones. I decided to run this instead of Twin Twisters because some spells and traps do benefit while being in the graveyard. So I kind of wanted to get over that a little bit, and I will miss the wanting to discard a card to pop 2 cards, because if I had like Shadow Mist or Malicious or Denier now in my hand to send to the graveyard, I can get some benefit effects for it. But you know what? I'd rather try to banish their cards, especially last week when my opponent had Dagda and Set Sight. Yeah, I want to banish that Sight, so that's why I also did run it. 1 Harpy's Feather Duster. I'm still going back and forth between this card, but it's still there. And then I had the 1 Reboot to round off our side deck. And that was the deck profile for my heroes, and it performed very well. I really liked it, and how well did it do? Well, let's get into the game by play at our locals, Aladdin's Game Castle. Starting off game 1 of round 1, my opponent normal summons his Shadow Generator monster, and he uses the effect to tribute it to special summon a Generator monster from his deck. However, I have the Ash Blossom and I negate that. He sets 2 passes. During my turn, he activates Boss Fight to activate the Generator field spell from his deck and allows me to draw 1 card. And because I drew a card, he can special summon a Generator monster from his deck, Hela, and can summon out 4 Generator tokens. That's going to put Hela's effect live. So from here, I have to use the Infinite Impermanence that I have in my hand, because if I don't, it's gonna be useless a little bit later, and I did not want to set it and just like wait. So I summon out the Stratos, and he does chain his Shadow's effect to tribute a token to summon out the Dark Boss Negate monster. I can't remember the name of it. And I do search out the Ferris, and from there I do activate the effect of Ferris to discard. Oh no, sorry, use Foolish Barrel to send Shadow Mist to the graveyard. Use Shadow Mist's effect to search out a Dust of Gold. Ditched a Dust of Gold to search, but he does negate it with his Dark Monster. And from there, I go to the Ferris combo of discarding a hero to summon out Increase. Used Increase, summon out itself, and Bion banished a hero from my graveyard to search out a Polymerization. And I am trying to go for this OTK board because I think I do have it. I just have to actually assemble it cautiously because my opponent is probably playing Nibiru. That's always my thought process. So I'm like, you know, I don't want to go 2 extensions into here, but I am trying to go to this OTK board, but keep a couple of cards to myself. So I do use the Miracle Fusion at this point, and I go into the I go into the Wonder Driver first. I go into Wonder Driver first, then I activate the Miracle Fusion to summon out Absolute Zero, and I do have the Mass Change in my hand, but I also do set Miracle Fusion back, and I have the Mass Change, and I go into Acid, and Absolute Zero destroys this whole board. Then I activate Miracle Fusion to go into the Shining, and from there I got game 1 of round 1. For game 2, my opponent goes first. He sets 2 passes and activates a generator trap card that can negate anything that responds to a generator card. It doesn't come into play much. He just activated it. So I had the Rhoda to search out Stratos. However, he does negate the Stratos with the Chalice. So all I can do was attack with a 2200 point Stratos, which is completely fine. And all I can do was just set a card and pass, but my opponent draws a card and he passes as well. So it becomes my turn. I normal summon out the Shadow Mist, link those two into Wander Driver, use Shadow Mist's effect to search out Ferris, and from here I'm trying to set up an OTK board. However, that will come crashing down when I try to do extensions on my board. I go into the increase, summon it out, use the effect, summon a Vion, but he has the Nibiru, tributes all my monsters, and then from there I'm just gonna have to proceed to pass because I don't want to extend my board and just keep my cards for my next turn. So it becomes his turn, and he summons out the Shadow Generator monster from his hand and tries to use the effect to summon out one from the deck. However, I have the Ash Blossom to negate that, so all he did was just attack the Nibiru token with his Nibiru, and then when it became my turn, I normal summoned out the Stratos, top decking that bad boy, and searching out a Ferris because I figure I'm gonna set up a board and get bodies on the board so I can link into my higher monsters and then just get some good benefits here. And yeah, that does come into play quite a lot. So I go into the usual Ferris plays to bring out Increase, bring out Vion, and eventually get a search for Denier. And I also use Vion's effect to banish to add Polymerization. Then I link those two into Cross Crusader, summon out Mali from the graveyard, tribute that Mali to get a Dusted Gold. And from here, I think I might have game as long as he didn't have another Nibiru. I summon out the Malicious Bane, proceeded to destroy his Nibiru with Malicious Bane. And from there, I do have enough battle damage to inflict to get the game. And we did get round 1 of the tournament, bringing up score to 1-0 and a really interesting game. Starting off game 1 of round 2, I discard a Mali to summon out Ferris, and I use Ferris's effect to bring out Increase, tribute Ferris to go into Increase, summon out Vion, use Vion's effect, and I think I send a Denier, or no, I sent Shadow Mist to search out Stratos, and then I banished to add Polymerization to my hand. And then from there, I kind of wanted to set and pass, but my opponent did have Nibiru, so he tributed my monsters, and I got a token. And thankfully, I still have my normal summon, so I was like, you know what, let's do this. I am going to summon out Stratos to get the Liquid Soldier. Then I proceeded to activate Polymerization to fuse Liquid Soldier with a light monster and went into the Shining, which will trigger Liquid's effect to let me draw 2 cards and discard 1. But even from there, that was all I could do, is I just discarded a card, and then I proceeded to pass. My opponent draws, and then he activates the Terraforming field spell to Terraforming to search out the Sky Striker field spell. He proceeds to activate it, but I did have the Ash Blossom to stop that card. And he just summons out Rose. He links that off to go into Hayate, and then he goes into the battle phase. He attacks with Nibiru on my Shining, and he tries to attack me directly with Hayate, but I did have the Infinite Permanence to negate that effect, so he can't foolish his Sky Striker cards or attack me directly. Then he proceeded to link, he went to Upstart Goblin, drew a card, activated Rhoda to search out Ray, and I think he proceeded to link these two together. Yes, he links those two into Verte and Decondo, which he will now go into Fusion Destiny and to summon out his own DPE. Then after he summons his DPE, he will proceed to activate its effect to pop itself and my Stratos, leaving me completely boardless, and he sets 2 cards and then passes. Now it's my turn. He brings back his DPE. I activate Foolish Burial, I think. Oh no, I summon out Stratos. I don't know what I was trying to play there, but I do activate the Fusion Destiny, and thankfully that does go off. He did negate the Stratos with the Infinite Permanence, by the way, but I did use the Fusion Destiny to summon out my own DPE, and I did send Mali and Denier to the graveyard, so I'm really trying to go off here. And I do bring out the Denier to recycle Mali, and then I go into the Cross Crusader, summon out Mali from the graveyard, and I'm going to tribute that to add a Dusted Gold. I'm sorry, I summoned out Denier, tributed that, added a Dusted Gold. Then I proceeded to use a Dusted Gold effect to search out the Dark Calling, which I did. And from here, I do use the Dark Calling to bring out the Malicious Bane. And then after I do summon the Malicious Bane, I attempt to use its effect to destroy all of his monsters. However, he changed the effect of, I believe, DPE to destroy it, and I think my DPE. I can't remember exactly what happened, but there was a really cool interaction here. And then from there, I triggered my DPE to destroy I just triggered my DP's effect. You just trigger first, you don't target or anything, you just activate the effect of it. And then from there, he changed Forbidden Droplets to tribute out his Anaconda, and then he does negate the effects of my Malicious Bane and halves its attack points. And then from there, the chains resolve, and then I would destroy his DPE with my DPE. And then I kind of figured, you know what, maybe I do have game here because I do have the Malicious in my graveyard. I proceeded to banish that to summon it out from the graveyard, and then I linked both that and the Cross Crusader to go into Dread Decimator, which brings me to 10 heroes in my graveyard. And with that, all the monsters that it points to and itself gain 1,000 attack points, which got me the win, and I attacked directly, and I got game 1 of round 1, and it was a really cool game. Game 2, I'm starting off with Fusion Destiny, but my opponent has the Ash Blossom, which negates it, so all I can do was set a monster and pass. He activates Hornet Drones, gets a token, links off that token into Hayate, and then he proceeds to go into his battle phase, but during still his main phase, I used Effect Failure to negate that effect, and then he just goes into Shizuku by that standard point, but then he uses the Fusion Destiny to make his DPE, and then I believe I don't know if he sets one. Well, he will activate DPE's effect to destroy itself, and my Denier uses DPE's effect, sets a card. Shizuku end phase will search out hand cannon, or whatever it's called, and will banish my Denier, and then becomes my turn. I draw, and then it brings my DPE. From here, my hand is pretty bad, guys. My hand is actually not that good, and I use Harpy's Feathers to destroy a card, and I don't know why I did this. I summoned out Shadow Mist, and I set a card and proceeded to pass, not thinking like he's gonna DPE my face down card. He's not gonna take my bluff. Like, why did I do that? So it becomes his turn. He summons back DPE, and then he links off into Hayate, and he attacks the monster. I lose 500. He does proceed to use the effect of that. He sends Ray. I add Stratos because of Shadow Mist, and attacks me with DPE, and he links that off into Kagari, and then adds I think he adds back, was it Cannon? Yeah, Cannon back to his hand, links that out, goes to Shizuku, and then proceeds to the end phase to search out Engage. And I'm like, okay, let's see what can I top that, because I think all I have is Stratos in my hand. So I normal summon out Stratos, attempt its effect. He has the effect failure, but I have Mass Change. I use that to target Stratos, and then from there he DPs my monster, but my Stratos was not negated, so I do search out just another Stratos for next turn if I survive. And I was going to search out a Dusted Gold, but I was like, you know what, no, let's search out Stratos, because a Dusted Gold is completely useless at this point. I don't have a level 5 or higher monster. So it becomes his turn, DP's back, just proceeds to attack me directly, and I take a lot of damage. Then it becomes my turn, I drop deck another Mass Change, and it's exactly the exact same play out here, and it was so horrible. And I just proceeded to scoop it up. He got game 2, and we're going to go into game 3 here, and it was a fun game. It was a fun game. Going into game 3, my opponent opens up a multi-roll and Engage. As soon as I saw those two cards, I was like, oh boy, I'm in for it, aren't I? And this is my opponent, Henry, by the way. This is his first time being on the channel, and he's a really good duelist, and we had a really fun time. I had a really fun time playing against his deck, because I haven't played against Side Strikers in a while. But he sets 3, and he goes to Shizuku, and he adds the Widow Anchor, and I'm like, oh boy, I got a lot of the gates to go through here, but time is on the essence right here, literally, so I'm trying to go as quickly as possible. Activate the Rhoda to search out the Stratos. Normal summon out Stratos, but he will negate that effect with the Widow Anchor. So I use the emergency call in my hand to add the Honest Neos, which was gonna be my original intentions of adding with the Stratos' effect. So I add that, go into Fusion Destiny to summon out Dystopia in hopes of burning his life points so I could get the game. However, he does negate that with the Infinite Impermanence, and from there I proceeded to go into the battle phase, which he lets me go into the battle phase. So from there I attack his monster with my Stratos, and during the damage calc I use the Honest Neos. However, he has the Forbidden Droplets, which will have the attack points, but it will still do some damage. And from there I was able to get the win, because time did get called, giving us game 3 and giving our score of 2x and a really fun match. For all you fans of Yugioh Gx, this is the long-awaited rematch between Jaden Yuki and Kagimaru, because my opponent is playing Sacred Beast and I'm playing Heroes, and this is just a really fun match. I really enjoyed this one out of the entire tournament, and my opponent is going to go off like crazy here. Summoning out the Chaos Summoning Beast is to go into the Uriah, and go into Uriah, then have the Haman, get the Fallen Paradise to his hand, and then proceeds to set 3 cards face down. I'm like, why couldn't I pop off like this when I was playing the deck? So I draw the card, and I attempt to go into my Ferris play, so I discard to summon out Ferris, and now I summon Ferris, attempt to use his effect, but he has Awakening of the Sacred Beast. That shuts down all my monster effects, and I was like, oh, this is going to be rough, because I don't have any side deck cards in here. All my side decks have the pop back row cards, and yeah, I have nothing for this. So yeah, this was going to be one of the roughest matches on this tournament, and it was so bad. So I activated Mass Change to go into Dark Law. It's not really going to do anything whatsoever. So I attempt to attack into his Uriah. He will activate Hyper Blaze, but it's only just going to be activated, and then from there he will chain the Dogmatica Punishment, and he will destroy my Dark Law. And from there I just set my Vision Hero Increase, because that's really all I can do. And I think I proceeded to pass. No, I think I set a card and then passed. But it was just it was rough, man, because that was just a really good opening, and like I give him props for that. So okay, all I did was just set increase, so it becomes his turn. I believe he summons out the he activates Spirit Gates to search out another Chaos Summoning Beast, and from there he does summon Chaos Summoning Beast tributed to summon another Hamon from his hand, and from there he proceeds to go into another Chaos Summoning Beast with the Spirit Gate, and then from there he proceeds to go into the battle phase where he does attack with the Hamon on my monster, and I lose 1,000 damage because of its effect, and then he attacks directly with Hamon, so I took 5,000 damage, and then when it becomes my turn, I just draw a card, and then I'm like, yeah, this is not going to do anything. Let's just scoop and go to game 2. So for game 2, I go first. No, my opponent goes first. He draws nothing. He passes. I go second, and I summon out Stratos, and then I search out Ferris. I do all these plays to go into the Ferris, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try to pop off as much as possible, because if he is able to pop off himself, all my monsters are gonna be like shut down, you know. And I did side in like the Cosmic Cyclones and stuff like that, but it's like I didn't open with those. At least I don't think I opened up with them. I could have actually, but that's not important right now. What is important is that I am trying to set up a really good board to have some good destructions on his turn, so I can have some interactions during his turn. And yeah, I go into the Wand Driver, Polymerization. I fuse Stratos and Liquid Soldier to go into the Sunriser, and then I have Chain 1, Chain 2, and a Chain 3. Chain 3 would be the Wand Driver set by Polymerization to Chain 2, Sunriser into Miracle Fusion, and Chain 1, Liquid Soldier, draw 2 and discard 1. And then I have the Dusted Gold in my hand, send that to the graveyard to add Dark Calling, and then I go into Malicious Bane with that. And then from there, I bring out Mali from the deck, use Polymerization to go into DPE, and I'm like, okay, this is cool. And then he drops Nibiru. Yeah, so I'm like, okay, I got a chain so I can reduce the attack points of it at the very least. It's not really going to be as much, but it's like, you know, I'd rather just like reduce and keep my DPE active. So I destroy Sunriser, and then from there I activate the Miracle Fusion because I do have some plays to do. And with that, I banish a Sunriser and the Stratos from my graveyard to go into the Shining. And because of the Shining's effect, it gains 600 attack points, and it makes it stronger than the Nibiru. So I attack it and then just inflict 200 damage. I set 2 cards and I proceed to pass. So I summon out the DPE back from the graveyard during his turn, and he has the Lightning Storm, and I'm like, shoot. So I activate DPE's effect to destroy itself at one of my face downs because I rather destroy, not destroy the token so I can have something on the field. But he does destroy my Shining, and I was able to recycle 2 heroes back to my hand, one of them being the Stratos. So my opponent sets his whole hand so it can activate a Lure, does nothing, and then he has the Spirit Gates to search out his Dark Beckoning Beast. I had the Infinite Impermanence, and he just scoops it up, and then we go to game 3, which I start by activating normal summoning Stratos, activate his effect, search out Ferris, then I'm going to the Ferris whole combo. So we're not really gonna keep elaborating on the whole use of Ferris, but man, that card is just so good. And yeah, I'm setting up my board here, and spoiler, he does not have Nibiru, so I'm doing really well here. And here I'm actually going to set up a Plasma play because I rather negate my opponent's monsters and just see if he can absolutely do nothing, because I know how that felt game 1. So yeah, I have the Plasma. I set 2 pass. He does have the Spirit Gates. He searches out the Chaos Summoning Beast. He summons it, but I effect Veiler that card before he contributed, and yeah, he just sets 3 cards and passes. Now during he summons out Link Corella, and passes. And then on my turn, Cosmic Cyclone, Cosmic Cyclone is punishment. Then my turn, he activates Crackdown. I chain, Mass Change, and I go into Dark Law. And from there, I just attack. That's all I can do is attack. He activates Link Corrella's effect. I set 2, then I pass. He sets 1 card. He summons out the Beckoning Beast, but I have the negate, and from there, he scoops it. He summons out the spirits. But he searches out a card. I was gonna say that he did something here, but he searches out the Chaos Summoning Beast, and I use Dark Law's effect to banish one of his cards in his hand, and that ended up being Uriah, Lord of Searing Flames, which he really did need. He summons out the monster, links those 2 together to go into Verte Anaconda. However, he can't use the effect because there is no graveyard, and from that, he decides to scoop it, giving us round 3, making our score 3x, and it was a really fun game against our friend, and it was just it was a really cool game. That's just it.
I know, but unfortunately, it is what it is.
For game 4, I am going against my friend Lorenzo, who is playing an Eldritch deck. Now, I gotta be honest, guys, I have not had much experience playing against Eldritch, so I didn't really know what kind of board I was gonna be playing. So I was just going into my usual plays with the whole Stratos and then Ferris, getting out my increase and then Bion. So like I said, I had no idea how to navigate around Eldritch because I know they have a really good deck build when they set a bunch of spells and traps, mostly the trap cards, and then you have the big boy Eldritch, the Golden Lord, sorry, and that's just like, you know, I just got to set up some kind of board, right? So I'm trying to set up some destructions and some interactions that I can have during my opponent's turn, and from there I am trying to go into like the absolute zero as well as my DPE, and I am able to get to that kind of board. And yeah, it was actually really good to have this kind of setup. But my opponent does have some really cool plays as well, and we'll be seeing that my board is ending with like DPE, absolute zero, as well as some 2 other hero monsters, but they're not going to be as relevant. But I set a card face down, and then because my opponent's turn, he's going to use the Golden Lord, the Heavenly Prison's effect, so I cannot even destroy his set spells and traps, so that's going to be a problem. Then he uses Golden Lord to get rid of my DPE, but I use DPE's effect to destroy the Wander Driver and that one, just so I can, you know, bring it back. So he sets a card, and then he brings out his Golden Lord by sending that card to the graveyard, and it gains 1,000 attack points. He destroys my Sunriser, and I can't destroy his Golden Lord, so he sets 2 cards face down, and he banishes the 2 trap cards from his graveyard to set Scarlet as well as Conquistador, I believe. He activates the Divine Punishment to send, I believe, Titanclad to destroy my absolute zero, and I still can't destroy his set cards face down, so that really sucks. He summons out Yugioh to banish my DPE as well, so that puts me in a tight spot right there. So all I could do is to special summon any Destiny Hero monster from my graveyard, so I do summon out the Denier because it's the only Destiny Hero I think I have in my graveyard as of right now. So I do that, then I go into the Stratos, and then I attempt to search. He does let it go, so I add, and then I activate I do search out the Dark Calling with the Dusted Gold, and I do set that up to go into the Malicious Bane, and then I do attempt to activate Malicious Bane to destroy at least Yugioh because Golden Lord can't be destroyed, so at least I can destroy 1 monster. Then I activate the Fusion Destiny, and from there my opponent does activate the Conquistador, and then he does summon it. He does destroy my Stratos, I believe. He does destroy my Stratos, yes. So I do send out the 2 Destiny Heroes from my deck to the graveyard, summon out DPE because I did recycle that one back. Actually, I forgot I did recycle that. So yeah, he summons out the Heavenly Prison, and he sets his own Fusion Destiny. So then it goes to the battle phase. I attempt to destroy most of his monsters, and his monsters do lose 2,000 attack points because I have 10 heroes in my graveyard. So yeah, I was able to beat over the Golden Lord, destroyed that monster. Then I proceeded to destroy the Heavenly Prison, and then I used the Mass Change to go into Dark Claw to destroy his monster. And then during the end phase, I popped his Fusion Destiny with my DPE, and from there he also goes into Ecclesia with the Titanclad to search out his I forgot what the name of the negate monster, level 7 higher monster, I can't remember the name of it, but because of Dark Claw I was able to banish it. And from there my opponent goes back into the Golden Lord. He summons that one out with the Scarlet, and yeah, he does. He can't really do anything much, so he does summon it. He does switch it to defense because he can't really do anything. He sets 1 card and passes, and then no, I'm sorry. He does set a card. I believe it was Scarlet. But yeah, because my turn, I DP in, and I got game 1 because he scooped it up. Now for game 2, my opponent goes first. He sets 2 cards face down. All I can do is set 1 card, and that was it. He sets 2 more cards face down and summons out the Celestial. And this is actually going to be a very quick match. Basically, he's going to get it because I can't do anything. I use Polymerization, but he has the barrier to call out Fusion Monsters, so I can't do anything. And he's just going to slowly poke into my life points, and to the point where I'm just going to scoop it up here. And then, like, yeah, let's just go to game 3 because this was like the roughest hand that I had. I couldn't do absolutely anything. And then he just kept poking me, and then I was just like, yeah, you got this, man. Let's go into game 3, and yeah, we go from there. Starting off the final game of the tournament, I activate Fusion Destiny, and thankfully it does go off. Now usually Fusion Destiny lets you have an end board of DPE with Plasma, but I thought Plasma was not going to be very beneficial because it negates monster effects, and that's not what I have to worry about. I have to worry about his back row. So you will be seeing me trying to fiddle with my board because I don't know what the game plan is if you're not going into Plasma. So I was just like messing around, but I do end the turn with a Dread Decimator pointing to a DPE and a Stratos, and I do have a defense Vion. So I mean, it's a decent sized board. I think it was good, at least. Now during my opponent's turn, he will activate Navigator Servant, but I do have the Ash Blossom to negate that, and from there he proceeds to set 5 and pass. But during the end phase, I used the DPE's effect to destroy it and one of his face downs, that being Ice Dragon's Prison, which was a card that he needed. Now during my turn, he activates There Can Only Be One, so I can only control 1 warrior, so I had to send all those to the graveyard. But I had a Dusted Gold in my hand to search out Dark Calling, but when I attempted to use it, he had the Silent Judgment, bringing his life points to 4,000, but Dread Decimator gains 1,000 attack points because of its effect, and I attacked directly, bringing his life points to 500, and that proceeded to have him scoop because no matter what, he was going to be taking damage with its battle or piercing, and that gave us the game 3 and a record of 4-0. That's right, your boy got first place at locals, and I just could not be more happier, guys. Just the fact that I did it with my favorite deck of all time. I had that feeling that I used to have when I played the deck for the very first time. I'm sorry, for the very, like, throughout that whole 2019, that whole thing I mentioned in the very beginning, like, I had that feeling that I never got rid of the deck, and it was just so awesome that I got first place and just had so much fun playing against my friends and everybody who was there. It was awesome, great time, great duels. I just could not be more ecstatic that I got first place with Elemental Heroes, Visions, all of them, and it was just so amazing that I got first place. And whew, it was, I just cannot believe it, man. It was awesome. Cool. Yeah. Thank you.
So yeah, I switched over to blind DP.
Oh, blind DP?
Yeah, second.
True.
I still gotta tweak it a bit more.
Come on, I need a permit. He got the souls, so.
I got the souls, you can get the droplet.
I heard somebody needed a blessing off their parents.
Bless them.
Bless him, bro. Bless him. Oh, no, bad luck now. I'm like, they got banded. That was supposed to be forbidden. All right, let me see here. Come on, one. And I saw smell. I was like,
This is actually one of those pretty good ones.
I know, but I'm like, that's not the one I want. I saw spell. Now, before we wrap up this video, I want to talk to you guys a bit about my sleeves. Yeah, that's gonna be a little bit weird here, but for the most part, I was using these Jaden Yuki sleeves, if you guys can see them, for my extra deck. But I want to get these for my main deck, so I am probably gonna buy another package of these. It comes with 100 per pack, and I should have bought more of these when they were at regionals. I bought it for like $15. I think it was either early or late 2018 or early 2019. That was the regionals. We went over there. They had some vendors had some of these. It was 100 pack. It was 100 piece sleeve pack, and you know, it was the Japanese ones. They were $15. I only bought one. I should have bought them all because I think they had like 3 or 4. I should just bought them all. But at the time there was no double sleeving, so that was the reason why I did not buy that. However, I did just go and buy these Dragon Shield clear matte sleeves for I think these are for the Magic the Gathering, so you can use it over Yu-Gi-Oh sleeves, and apparently that's what some people have been doing, and I saw that, so I wanted to do that as well. So yeah, I'm trying to get these for the main deck. Now the thing I wanted to talk to you guys about that is that if you guys got this far, first of all, thank you, and secondly, you guys decide which sleeves I should use for the extra deck going forward. Should I use these Jaden Yuki, these are Jaden's, by the way, these are Jaden Yuki sleeves. So this one, these are sleeves that I bought a long time ago, but I never opened them, and these are hard to find. So these are sealed, these are still brand new, just not the packaging. It didn't come with the packaging part of it. But I got these Jaden Yuki sleeves of him by himself, and these are red, so Slifer red, it's pretty cool. Then I also got these Jaden Yuki sleeves with the Neos cards. So it has Neos in there and the Neospatians. This one I really like, and these are black inside. So these will be the extra deck sleeves because these only come with 50, so it's not 100, so I can't do 40 and then 15 for the side deck, you know. So I will have to choose which one do I want for the extra deck. But you guys, let me know what you guys would like to see as the side deck. Sorry, as the extra deck. I mean, it's not really that big, but I still want to get your guys' info. Which one looks better? I don't know, I kind of do like this one just because it has all the Neoses, but you know, Jaden just being by himself is pretty cool as well. So you guys let me know which one's down in the comment section down below. And yeah, that was today's video, and just again, it was awesome getting first place with Heroes, and it was just so much fun. So I cannot wait for next week. Hopefully, I've been talking to my cousin Danny, and he is maybe thinking about coming to locals. I'm trying to persuade him a little bit more, so maybe we can get a hard yes, and he would actually like to be on the channel. And we also talked about just doing a solo match at home and just like filming it for you guys. So you guys will be seeing him on the channel eventually. So maybe we can get him next week. Comment down below if you guys want to see him, because I can persuade him like, hey, these people want to see you, you know. So if you guys want to see the person who got me the rest of the hero cards for Christmas, you know, comment down below and I'll show it to him. I'll show it to him like, you need to come over here, play, and wreck locals with Madolches, because I have a hard time playing against Madolches too. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy this video. Please hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe to the channel for more upcoming videos. And I'll see you guys next week, where I hope we can get another first place win. That'd be really awesome if we did. And yeah, I'll see you guys later.